Welcome back to the channel. Dr. Kyle here, chiropractor, founder at Movement RX Sports Care and Chiropractic, where we bridge the gap between pain and performance. Hey, real quick, because I don't think everyone that watches this channel knows, we do help people virtually all over the country. If you've been watching for a while and you're intrigued by the way that we help people in clinic, we do help people all over the country. We help people right now in Florida, in Arkansas, in Missouri, in Texas, in Idaho, in Washington, I believe right now. If you're like, hey, I would really love to work with these guys, but I'm like 3,000 miles away, that is okay. We've actually come up with a very streamlined process to make it simple, very effective, and our outcomes have not been any different than working with you in office, because the majority of what we do is not hands-on, right? Most of it's in the gym space, and we can do it with very little equipment. That's the beauty of it. So if that's you, make sure to click one of these links down here to get a hold of us. You can call us or just fill out the discovery call form so you can have a free 30-minute introductory phone call. Let's get on with the video. So if you were with us for the last one, we talked about the training intention buckets, the way that we view it, the way that we work with our clients and help them really get an education here rather than only an outcome. So education and outcome in our mind equals longevity. We went through the resistance training, but if we're really looking at a truly holistic approach, we would really be missing a big piece if we didn't talk about cardiovascular. The different sub-buckets that we look at here, and number one, in my opinion, is the most important by far, okay? And that is zone 2. You've probably heard it thrown around. You probably don't really know what it is. Really what it is it's low and slow. So low intensity, long duration, cardiorespiratory exercise. It could be walking briskly. It could be obviously walking on a treadmill. It could be biking nice and easy. It could be elliptical. Oftentimes rowing and skiing is a little too intense for most people, but that's in the question as well. But typically what we're looking at here is you want to get your heart rate up to a certain point, and then it's gonna plateau, and then you wanna be able to hold that for at least 30 minutes at a time. So something that you can sustain and just maintain. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Sustain and maintain. What that usually looks like from a heart rate perspective for most people is kind of in that like 125 to 145 on the higher end beats per minute. And it's something that I want you to think about, like if I went out and did this, I wouldn't be crushed tomorrow, okay? Now, obviously, if you haven't walked in years and you go out and do a zone 2 walk for 30 minutes, you might be a little sore, right? Your calves might be a little sore, your feet. There is some nuance to the programming. I might start someone with more like 10-minute walks, but in general, for all of the health benefits, what we're looking for is 30 minutes minimum and 150 minutes per week, minimum. I believe the World Health Organization, I believe the recommendation right now is a minimum of 150 minutes of low intensity cardiorespiratory exercise per week, ideally closer to 300, okay? So obviously if you're doing none and I throw 300 at you, that's gonna seem very overwhelming. But if we can get close to 150 or even 100, it's gonna be huge for your overall metabolic health, your localized tissue health, your mental health. Really good things happen when we can start getting this zone 2. Moving on to the next part. Again, if you're not doing anything, I would start here. This builds your base. This helps you recover quicker in between these exercises. People are gonna usually experience less chronic pain. Things just start to really improve in your life when you prioritize this. Seesaw intervals. Okay, these are intervals that many of you have probably already experienced, like the highs and the lows. You're going really hard for a period of time, and then you're either completely resting or walking very lightly, letting your heart rate come down. There's a lot of different mini buckets within this, and I think it's a little too much to get into the nuance in this video. In fact, like sometimes my brain has a hard time wrapping my mind around all of the different buckets within intervals and how they elicit adaptations. But in general, this is, I call them seesaw intervals. This is to grow the engine, and the examples would be MAS, max aerobic speed intervals, lactate threshold 2 intervals. You've probably heard these before if you're familiar, if you're in the training world. If not, totally fine. The goal with this is to improve your VO2 max, lactate clearance, that stuff that builds up, that, like those hydrogen ions that start to burn and your muscles fatigue. It improves that. It improves your mitochondrial density, which is really good for longevity. So this would be kind of like icing on the cake, right? Very, very important. And for most people, if they're willing to put in the time and effort, I'm having them do those 2 days a week. I'm not going to go into the specific prescription and how we do that in this video. It's a little bit beyond the scope of this video, but just know that typically once or twice a week is what I'd recommend. And if you're having a hard time getting this in the zone 2, then I would drop it to 1 or just cut it out altogether. Prioritize this and prioritize 2 days per week of resistance training at a minimum. Okay. Number 3, I just thought I would mention it. Not for everyone, but these are like the short sufferfests, right? Typically anaerobic power repeats. So what this means is you're going absolutely maximal effort for a short period of time because that's all your body can sustain, right? And then you're taking a really long rest period until you feel fully recovered. An example of this would be like a 10-second all-out sprint on the treadmill outside, a hill sprint or whatever, and then you're recovering for 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 minutes until you feel ready to go again. There are, some nice performance benefits from this. Increased power, increased speed, increased muscle buffer capacity in the peripheral tissues. Again, I don't know if necessarily we have to prioritize these things a ton. If you're, circling back to the last video, if you're doing some things like plyometrics, med ball slams, and things like that to get the power and the neurological sub-buckets from the resistance training blocks. But I thought that I would use this video just to talk a little bit about these sub-buckets. And then maybe in a future video, if you guys comment and you're interested in it, I can go into a programming design talk on how we might break that down and program that for you if you worked for us one-on-one. All right, as always, thank you guys for being here. Drop a comment in the comment section. I will do my best to get back to every one of you individually. Also, if you'd like, a great way to get a hold of me is email me at drkyle@movementrx.com. That's drkyle@mvmtrx.com. And subscribe, like, always appreciated. Share this video with someone who needs it, and we'll see you next time.